Hello, everyone. This is Professor DePaulo. Welcome you back to Psych 265, Research in Psychology. And today I'm going to be going over how to write the introduction section of the APA manuscript that you're going to be writing throughout the semester. So if you go into Write Space under Written Assignments, you'll see all the written assignments and the due dates. And so this top link here, you're going to upload a PDF file. When you finish writing your introduction, you're going to upload it here as a PDF file. And then I'm going to get it, I'm going to grade it, read it, give you comments, and then you're going to revise it for the final paper at the end of the semester. That's going to be due at the end of the semester. So I'm going to give you comments just like a reviewer gives me comments when I submit an article, and you're going to have to revise and then resubmit as part of the final paper. So here are the instructions for the introduction section this semester. And so we're writing the entire paper on the gambling study that we're working on this semester. We're collecting data on it, and you had to complete the survey, basically measuring the certain variables we're looking at. And I'll be analyzing the data, and you're going to be writing up the different parts of the manuscript as we go along. So to write the introduction, we're just going to click on this PDF document here. It's under written assignments. And so here are the instructions. It is very important to follow the instructions as close as possible, step by step. So I'm basically asking you what I want you to provide, and you're going to want to follow that format. You're not going to want to provide me your own version of the introduction. The reason why I have it set up this way is because the introduction is kind of difficult to write, and you're just starting out. So I'm trying to streamline it and make it as simple as possible. So it should be approximately 3 pages in length, double spaced, and take the following format. Paragraphs 1 and 2 define the problem. So, what is the topic and why is it important? For this semester, we're looking at correlates of gambling behavior. Why is studying gambling important? Well, studying gambling is important because many states, including New York State, have recently, over the last few years, legalized online gambling. That means you can go on your phone and go into a casino. You can play against other people around the world. You can play roulette. You can play blackjack. You can play poker. You can also sports betting is legalized. So anyone can place a bet on any sporting event, pretty much any time, every day of the year. And that's an opportunity to make a lot of money and also an opportunity to lose a lot of money. And what the research indicates over the last, say, 10 years or so is that the rates of pathological gambling in younger people is increasing at an astronomical rate. So it's becoming more and more a problem. It is classified as an addiction, gambling addiction, and it's starting in younger people. And the ages are just going down because now it's legal to bet. And you could bet on the convenience of your smartphone. So you could be bored one day or, just feel like, oh, I'm gonna try my luck. And you can go right onto your phone, get on a casino, put money, transfer money from your bank account, and go spend it. Now, is it harmful for people to spend in moderation? Not as much. But we don't know which type of person is going to spend in moderation and which type of person is going to spend and lose in the long run a lot of money and become obsessed with getting that money back. And that sort of develops a pattern of pathological gambling, and that can ruin someone's life completely. So we need to do more research on the topic of what causes people to partake in online gambling. What are the behaviors associated with it? What are the predictors, psychological, possibly, of online gambling? Who's going to become addicted? Who's not? Right? And then eventually, once we can identify those people, we can start thinking about treatment. Now, you might say, well, the treatment is making gambling illegal. No, people still gambled when gambling was illegal, but it's gotten so easy now that the problems associated with gambling are just increasing exponentially. And New York State is not going to go back to making gambling illegally because they're making too much money off gambling. So, in these first two paragraphs, you need to tell me what the topic is, which I'm telling you right now, gambling, factors associated with gambling, especially in younger people, and why it's important. I just explained why it's important. So, these two paragraphs you do not need to cite. You could just write these two paragraphs without citing any articles, right? So, two solid paragraphs, what the problem is and why it's important to study it. Now, for the next five paragraphs, we're going to be doing the literature review. So you're going to find five peer-reviewed research articles through either PsycInfo or Google Scholar related to the topic we're studying, which is, gambling and the possibility of pathological gambling. Each article should correspond to one of the five hypotheses that we're testing. Now, the five hypotheses is here at the end. These five hypotheses. So the first hypothesis, there is a positive correlation between impulsivity and gambling behavior. You're going to go find an article, a research article about this, a more recent research article. The more recent, the better. You're then going to read that article and you're going to write a one-page summary of that article. That's going to be paragraph 3. That is not the one page, a one paragraph summary of that article. So paragraph 3 is going to be a summary of an article looking at the positive correlation between impulsivity and gambling. There's plenty of research out on there, right? You could just Google Scholar it or PsycInfo. They're both very good. So you just type in impulsivity and gambling. Gives you a ton. I spelled it wrong. Gives you a ton of different articles. You see the PDF here. That means that you get the article for free. Do not pay for anything. All these articles can be free. Now, if you want more recent articles, you can do since some date. So I'll do since 2022. It doesn't matter if you get an article that's within the last 10 years, it's okay. So this was 2019. It's not a problem. Click on it. What you want to do is read the abstract. If the abstract seems like it's going to be a good article to write up, the one paragraph summary, it's related to impulsivity and gambling, and you want to use this article, you're going to want to read the whole article. So read the abstract first, decide if you want to use the article. And if it's a yes, you're going to read the whole article and write a one paragraph summary of that article. And this is sort of talking about inhibition here, right? Decision making impulsivity may extend to problem at risk gambling. So this might be something this is a meta analysis, which is a summary of many different articles. If you think the abstract is good, read the whole article. Click on the PDF, read the whole article, right? And give me a solid one paragraph summary of the article. And make sure you cite it. When you cite it, you're going to cite it author, comma, year format. So you're going to put the information in your own words. You're not going to copy anything word for word. It's going to be in your own words. It's going to be paraphrased. And then you're going to give me author, comma, year as the citation. So you're going to paraphrase and then author, comma, year as the citation. So the article states that, right, I'm writing my paraphrase here. Impulsivity is related to gambling addiction, obviously. And then you're going to put the author, say it's Smith, hypothetically, in the year. Let's say it's 2020, like that. And then you can write the rest of your one paragraph summary. for that article, for that hypothesis that is looking at a positive correlation between impulsivity and gambling. So, paragraph 3 should be about impulsivity and gambling. One paragraph summary. Let's go back to the instructions. Paragraph 4 is going to be about depression and gambling. So go find an article about depression and gambling and write your one paragraph summary, which is paragraph 4, on that article involving depression and gambling. Make sure you paraphrase, make sure you cite correctly. Author, comma, year. Do not use direct quotes. No direct quotes for any of this. Always paraphrase and then cite author, comma, year. Okay. Do not use I, do not use you, do not use we, do not use our. That sounds more like a blog, like you're writing a blog. You don't want to use like I think this or I saw this or we remember this. No, it's got to be written as a scientific paper, not like you're writing a blog or you're writing an email to somebody, a friend of yours. It's got to sound like a scientific paper. So do not use I, you, we, us, our, right? All that stuff. Let's see what else. And do not use article titles in the citation. Just use author, comma, year. Do not put the title of the article in the paragraph. So, like, according to the article, blah 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 blah. No, you don't. You do not need to use the article titles in your citations. The article titles will go in the reference page. So, if someone wants to know what article you used, I can go to the reference page, find the author, and then find the article. I don't need to put it in the introduction. So, no article titles either. So, once again, paragraph 3, paragraph 1 and 2. What is the problem? Which is the gambling study. Why are we studying gambling? Why is it important? That's paragraph 1 and 2. You do not need to cite in paragraph 1 and 2. Paragraph 3 should be a one paragraph summary of an article that deals with the positive correlation between impulsivity and gambling. Paragraph 4 should be a one paragraph summary of an article dealing with the positive correlation between depression and gambling. Paragraph 5 should be a one paragraph summary of an article that looks at gender differences in gambling, men and women, because I'm hypothesizing that men will gamble more often than women and have higher levels of pathological gambling behavior. Plenty of stuff on that. Paragraph 3, 4, 5, 6 will be based on an article that deals with gambling severity and life satisfaction. So go find an article about gambling severity, how it affects life satisfaction, and summarize it in paragraph 6. Paragraph 7 should be about an article that looks at gambling severity and attachment style, attachment avoidance, and attachment anxiety. This is also mentioned as insecure attachment. So if you find something on insecure attachment, you can also use that as an article about gambling and attachment. You don't have to look for exactly avoidance and anxiety. Those components make up insecure attachment. That's paragraph 7. So you should have 5 articles. Article 1 should be paragraph 3. Article 2 should be paragraph 4. Article 3 should be paragraph 5. Article 4 should be paragraph 6. Article 5 should be paragraph 7. 5 scholarly articles. Those articles will come off of PsycInfo and Google Scholar. Once you've done those 5 article summaries, right? Paragraphs 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You have one more paragraph left, and that's paragraph 8. State the purpose of the current study. So all I want in paragraph 8 is listing these hypotheses. It is hypothesized that there is a positive correlation between impulsivity and gambling behavior. It is also hypothesized that there's a positive correlation between depression and gambling behavior. So all you're doing is stating these 5 hypotheses in a paragraph form. You're not listing them, you're putting them in a paragraph form. That's paragraph 8. And once you've done that and you double spaced it and you checked spelling and all that stuff, save it as a PDF, and upload it into Brightspace. So under written assignments, you see this upload link. You're just going to click on this and you're going to upload your file as a PDF. And then I'm going to be able to read it and give you comments. And then you're going to make the changes that I suggest in the comments. And you're going to change it, revise it, make it better. And that's going to go into your final paper, which is going to be due at the end of the semester. And that's it. 8-paragraph format. Paragraphs 1 and 2, what is the problem and why is it important? Paragraph 3, well, 1-paragraph summary of the article dealing with impulsivity and gambling. Paragraph 4, 1-paragraph summary of an article dealing with depression and gambling. Paragraph 5, 1-paragraph summary of an article dealing with gender differences in gambling. Paragraph 6, a 1-paragraph summary of an article dealing with. So you go back to paragraph 6 now, and I'm forgetting what my paragraphs are here. Paragraph 6, a 1-paragraph summary of an article dealing with life satisfaction in gambling. Paragraph 7, a 1-paragraph summary of an article dealing with attachment, insecure attachment, and gambling. More specifically, attachment avoidance and anxiety, which is part of insecure attachment. Paragraph 8, the 5 paragraphs like this put into a 1-paragraph form. So you're just going to basically copy them word for word, put them into 1 paragraph, and that's your paragraph 8. And then you're done. So I've kept it as simple as possible. Make sure you stay on topic. Make sure you have eight seriously good paragraphs, like, not tiny paragraphs, but substantial paragraphs. 8 substantial paragraphs here. Should be about 3 pages, give or take, right? Double spaced, 1-inch margins. Save as a PDF, upload, and I'll give you feedback. And then based on that feedback, you make revisions and you're going to submit that as part of the final paper at the end of the semester. And that's it. If you want to do PsycInfo instead of Google Scholar, we can also do PsycInfo. So we're going to go to PsycInfo. All right, so I went to Brightspace. I'm sorry. I want to go to the library. So library is at the top of the homepage here. You want databases. You want subject. Actually, you can even you can put psychology here, or you can put psychology in the above box. Actually, these are databases. So I want to do subject. Database by subject. So I'm just going to put psychology here. And hit go. Probably easier. Then you have PsycInfo, Psych Articles. I use PsycInfo. You can use both. They're both good. Click on PsycInfo. Then you're gonna have to log in. It's gonna make you put your stuff in here, right? Your Kinney first login, which is always fun. And then you're gonna have to put in your code, because it makes you do this every like 5 minutes now. So you get your code on your phone. So you have the dual authentication. And now you're logging into the library, which is your, CUNY first login, right? And then I can just type in the search term. So let's try gender differences in gambling behavior. And you may have to change things up. It's trial and error for this, right? So this is using PsycInfo. Okay, so we have gender differences in gambling exposure and at-risk gambling behavior 2020. Journal of Gambling Studies. That might be interesting. So let's click on that. You got to read the abstract. And it's showing that male at-risk gamblers started early in life in their 20s, and female high risk gamblers started later in their life, and men were at a higher rate at risk of gambling exposure and gambling related problems. And there are reasons for that, right? And then if that works for you, you're going to scroll down and you're going to have the whole article, and you can download the whole article if you want, or you can just read it off of here, right? So at the top, there should be like an option for PDF download right here. So I download the full text as a PDF, and that's might be better because you can read it offline here, right? And there's the PDF, and then you can read it and give me a one, basically what is the study about? What do they find? And make sure you cite author, comma, year. So the authors are a lot here, right? If you have six or more authors, you can just put the first author's last name et al. So it'd be Carnero et al. Et period al period because there's so many authors, six or more, and then put comma 2019. That's the year of publication. Well, actually, no, 2019. It says 2020 here, but it also says it was published first 2019. So I'd probably list where it was published. Read the article, give me a large one paragraph summary. What was the sample like? What did they find? What questions did they ask? What were some of the limitations? What was their conclusion? In one large paragraph. And that's it. You're going to do that with the other four articles outside of this one, and you'll have yourself a very basic introduction, but that's kind of what I want right now. Since you're first starting to learn. Now, if I were writing the introduction, I'd write it a little bit differently. But I think, when you're first starting out, you want to be able to read the articles, write the summaries of them. And this is a very simple yet effective way to sort of introduce the topic. And then, double space, submit it to me, and I will, give you feedback. And if you have any questions before you submit, you can always email me the questions. And I think that's about it. You're going to find this under written assignments. So all this is under written assignments in the Brightspace environment. So on the side here, you see written assignments. And then where you see introduction here, you're going to click on that, and you're going to be able to load it. You're going to add attachment, and you can load the PDF, and then I will be able to read it and give you comments. So that's about it. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. You can always email me, and I'll be back online for the method section, which will be done in several weeks down the road. So bye for now. See you for the method. And if you have any questions, let me know. Bye bye.